Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back outside the dealership here, the mechanical workshop. Our mechanic has just finished work on this vehicle, and I got a whole bunch of stuff to show you and talk to you about. So first, I've worked up a little bit of inventory, okay? I've done a little bit. I got a bunch of cars, and I'm putting them up for sale, just like you would normally do. Oh, you know what? I got to take a picture. I'll show you everything, okay? We're going to talk about some things today. And one of the things we're going to talk about is some of the new changes that they've brought to the game since I last played, which was a while ago. So, for one, you can now go into the options and you can disable the rival event. That's the Vandal. You can disable that. You can also turn on minimap rotation. I like the sound of that too. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And now the minimap will rotate so that it's always pointing in the direction you're going. I don't know if that's necessarily better, but it's something you got now. You can do it now. Let's put this van in the photo booth. Now, they didn't make any enhancements to the photo booth, unfortunately, but that's okay. That's okay. A little bit, baby steps at a time, right? They're going to do a whole lot of stuff with this game, I'm sure of it. Now, I've talked in detail. Well, okay, I've talked in vagueness about some of the stuff that I would really love to see in this game, but you know, and then I kind of reflected on that a little bit in a previous video. Like maybe I'm, you know, maybe my vision for it, or maybe what I would like to see for it isn't the same as the dev's vision for it, you know, isn't the same as what people want. And that's completely fine. I think it is anyway. We're gonna put this van all the way at the end. And that's completely fine. I actually have a huge document. All right, it's not that big. Several hundred words. Detailing all the stuff I'd like to see from this game. And I was gonna make this video I was gonna make this video like a read off of that, like what I want to see from the game kind of video. And I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure about using that, so I don't think I'm gonna do that for this video. But I'm trying to hold back a little bit because the stuff that I think we should do for this game is like probably outside the scope, right? It's everything is about scope. Everything is about what, let's see, put this at 75. Everybody and their mother has been telling me to put this at this, well, put it all the way to it's barely red. See, this is I will say this. This right here is absolutely meaningless if you allow this right here. Like, nobody should buy that car. And I'm going to prove it to you. Because you'll notice that a couple of my listings have obscene values for these cars, and terrible pictures too, but obscene values. The Zen Motors Journey, I'm pricing it at $800,000. I've got 3 of them that are priced at $800,000. They're in the showroom right here. 800 grand, right? All 3 of these. Now I'm going to open up the dealership. And we're going to see how many people actually end up interested in those and how long it takes me to sell them for hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's a balance issue. I'm avoiding the balance issue by not showing it to you in the game is what I'm doing. But I'm going to show it to you now because you just demand it. I must give the people what they want, like the Z key. Also, check this out. I have a lot of cars I've went out and gotten. None of these can drive themselves except for this van right here. I didn't know it at the time, but this van actually can drive. So we're going to go ahead and get this one into the mechanic. I'm going to park this one right next to that other one once it's done being fixed. There we go. Actually, no, because this one can drive. I'm going to back this up and have it car washed and have it detail or the body shop and all that stuff instead. Let's do the body shop with this one first, actually, because there's already somebody there. Well, there isn't somebody there, isn't there? No, I need to put somebody there. And guess what? I can do that now with the tablet. Yep. They went ahead and did that for me. That feels great. We're going to put her actually in the office because that'll help me sell that $800,000 car. I'm going to put Bartek in the body shop. I'm actually going to change Johnny out and put Johnny in the body shop. Put Bartek in the car wash. And then I can now hire Paul. I can have more, you can have more employees now. And so we'll put him as the mechanic. Okay. That's good. So now I can have, John can come over here and, yep, work on that rust pile, please. There you go. I've been using this yellow one here as sort of a, you know, in-lot car, if you will. That was another idea that people gave, is like, yeah, I could do that. I mean, we don't really deal with, like, in the real world, at least in my experience with it anyway, which is admittedly quite limited. You know, I only had 3 years doing the job. But I don't remember ever having to deal with a car that didn't run, that couldn't, you know, that needed to be towed everywhere. I don't remember ever having that problem. Maybe that's just something that other dealerships have, or smaller dealerships or whatever have. I don't know, but I don't remember ever having that issue. I've got extra parts pretty much, not every day, but pretty much every day. I go down to the junkyard and see what they got. I don't buy everything the junkyard has. I mean, I have a lot of inventory space, but it's going to fill up with stuff that maybe isn't as useful. So I do prioritize parts that we go through more often. So things like the brake calipers and the discs and the shock absorbers and stuff. They're potentially 4 of them per vehicle, right? So we're going to go through them a lot faster. And so I do prioritize having more of those parts on hand because I think it's more valuable to do that. The tow dolly thing was just a ridiculous saga that took place. Like I said, I recorded like 18 videos in a matter of 3 days, and then I structured releases for everybody, right? Because YouTube will punish me hard if I try to release them all at the same time. You guys don't know this, maybe as a creator, maybe you do, but after the 3rd video you publish in a day, your video gets no distribution to subscribers. Subscribers are not notified at all for more than 3 videos. So it's kind of like there's no reason at all to ever post more than 3 videos in a day. And I try to, whoops, I bumped that car. I try to limit it to 2 per day when possible. Oh my gosh, the fact that there's somebody interested in a car, 2 people interested in a car. Keep in mind, every single listing on the lot is a sliver of red right now. Every single car on the lot is priced at like 80% above the projected or the, you know, stated market value for the car. There's no justification whatsoever for anyone being interested in them at these prices, because otherwise the market value means nothing. But yet, here we are. Let's make sure that you are paid so you can do your job. Look, they're interested in this one in the showroom. I'm good with it. It's just, you just want it for $77.9. That's it. That is a sliver red, and he's just like, yep, I'll do it for what you said. It makes no sense. But here we are. Okay, yep. You got 34,000, but he's like really lowballing me, right? Which is not that lowball. This market value of this vehicle is like 23 grand. So he's not that lowball. I'm just really up there, right? But if you just reject them and walk away, you are eventually going to get people that are just like, hey, I'll pay what you want. And that's why I'm trying to demonstrate that with these $800,000 vehicles. It makes no sense that anyone would ever be interested in them. They should all be doing that right there every single time. But they don't necessarily do that every single time. Let's put another car in here. Let's get some color in here. Let's I don't want to. Let's put the orange one in there. Yeah. There we go. $64,000. There's another one in the showroom for you. There you go. And of course, having your receptionist at the desk is a big help too for your sales. However, customers will still buy cars, and your receptionist is clocking out at $1,800, right? So I don't think the benefit extends beyond hours. So if you're selling them after they go home, I think maybe the benefit's gone too. I think, I don't know. This person wants them for that. I'll go down to 61,000 for you. You're going to boost yourself up. Yeah. 48. Let's go 53. Nah, I can reject that. It's fine. I got time. So we're going to stay open, but I mean, you can see I've got a lot more cars to go through now that are, you know, mechanically not great. And what they've done, another thing they've done in these updates, actually, I probably should put you by the body shop. Well, you know, I got to wash both of them anyway. I'll just wash both cars. It's fine. We'll just give both cars a bath, and I can do that myself. The other thing they've done is they've extended the day and night cycle. And what that means is, what it used to be is that every second was a minute in game. So, you know, 24 minutes equals 1 day in game. They have now changed that. Probably shouldn't ignore the customers, right? They've now changed it to 2.5 seconds per minute. So more than double. I thought you were interested in this. I was like, what the shit? Okay. Yeah, hey, 72,990. Okay. Yeah, how about 71,000? Yeah, you're not coming up fast enough for me. Goodbye. You know, because I can charge really absurd prices. That's what everyone tells me to do, is charge really crazy. I'm leaving so much money on the table. Okay. Let's see how that goes. It's broken is my point. It's gonna go great. I know it's gonna go great. It's just broken. It needs to be fixed. And I try, you know, as much as I can. Maybe I'm just weird. You can say I'm weird. So say in comments, Charlie, you're weird. You get it. I know. Been told that all my life. But you know, I feel like maybe I'm just biased, or maybe I have like I don't know. So where is this customer waiting? Okay, over there. What do you want? 35? No. Maybe I have just like, I don't know, my experience working in the industry is clouding me or something. But I just feel like the market price, back me up on this if you believe me, if you're understanding what I'm saying. The market price should be the price right around what people are willing to pay. That is why it is the market price. If people were willing to pay higher, then that would be the market price, right? I mean, otherwise it's not a market price. So I feel like that's around where you should be able to sell it for. But for some reason, the game lets you mark up like cars like 70% and still sell them, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like they start down here, and that's cool. But it's absurd that I could even price it for 71 and they would just even be interested. This car is not worth $51,000, and yet that's their second offer. You know, here they come, up $8,000 more dollars. You know, it's wild that I could even get remotely close to $60,000 for that car, and I'll accept it because it's absurd. But yeah, and they're just gonna be like, ew, I don't want this. But if you wait long enough, most people are gonna hate these cars. They're not gonna want to have any interest in them at all. But if you wait long enough, somebody will be interested in these, and you can sell them. You have to wait a long time, but you can get the price, and that's the crazy part. All right, I'm gonna just talk to this guy really quick, and I'm just gonna reject him because I don't want to do it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and wash these two cars, and then I'm gonna get this one into the mechanics bay for the other guy to do. So we'll just pull this thing in. I probably will choose a different, porter is what the role is, moving cars around. I had forgotten what it was before. So porter, yeah. So this would be like the porter vehicle, right? But I chose this bright yellow one because I figured it was kind of like, well, yeah, it's like it's yellow, kind of like my tow truck. Speaking of which, I've had a few people. It's just, I wasn't gonna grab the car, but now I'm going to. And I actually don't really care which car I grab, so I'm just gonna grab one. There you go. They're just gonna bump into each other. Bring this around. You know what? I can just back this up like this. I would not make a very good... Whoa, look at that. I wouldn't make a very good porter if I had to use this dolly thing. I didn't have that problem. Like I said, I never... In my 3+ years... I almost made it 4 years, I think. It was my job in college. In my 3+ years of doing this job, I never... not once had to deal with a car that had to be towed. Every single one of them were, I mean, some of them were in crabby condition. Some of them were excellent. I still remember being able to take photos and move around the Murcielago. That was really fun. The Lamborghini. This exists in the game too the entire time. It's not listed in the key bindings. It's not listed anywhere. In most games, when you hit shift, it selects a range. That doesn't work in this game. Neither does control or anything like that. That doesn't work either. But if you select one part and then do Control A, you select all of them and you can move them over. That's existed the entire time. Didn't know it. So thank you, the person who said that in the comments. Appreciate that. Now you can't do it back into the machine. So I'll show you this. You can't do it back into the machine if you have tape on you, because the tape would be selected. And you cannot deselect anything, unfortunately. That doesn't count out. You're not able to deselect something. So you can't select all of them. Like this, and then only deselect that one. It won't let you do that. So, if you're going to be grouping things in like this, you gotta make sure you don't have tape in your inventory. So I have all these things here. It also doesn't help, of course, when you have a huge inventory of stuff and you want select things. I selected tape. See, I can't deselect anything. So I have to right click something else. There we go. So you still have to do a lot of this. And I do wish the shift function was a thing where we could select a range of parts. But the fact that Control A works is still pretty cool. So now I can do Control A, pop it all in there. Saves me loads of clicks. Just little tiny bits of automation. Just ever so little bits of automation. So anyway, the day-night cycle has been extended, which means the nights are going to last a lot longer. That's not a problem because you can sleep on the couch, right? But it also means you have more time to do all the things at night that you might have wanted to do, but then the business opened and you had to pay attention to the stuff related to your business, right? So there's that. Also, I think probably I'm basically responding to comments in this video. This video is like all about responding to your comments and just kind of trying to cover the whole gamut of things, okay? For you guys, it's been, days since I've, why is he not doing these things? We've been telling him for days. For me, it was record like 18 videos over the span of 72 hours, then have some family time because I really needed it, and I'm busy. I'm a dad and everything too. And then come back and record more and have to hear and read these comments about what I'm doing wrong over and over again, going, well, I'm not going to be able to change it, so there's that. And one of the things that a lot of people were telling me about is X, using the scanner while being in these bays. And yeah, I could have done that. I don't think I really had too much of an issue with the washing and polishing part. X here is kind of okay. It's pretty easy. Like what I mean to say is it's pretty easy to tell where I've sprayed and where I haven't sprayed. That part is pretty straightforward. Even with wax and polish, it's pretty easy to tell, in my opinion. But with the body shop stuff, that's definitely helpful because it is a little harder to tell where the rust is. You got to jump sometimes to get the top of these things. Yeah, it's okay. They shouldn't. Oh, you know what? Actually, don't need to jump. You can jump on top of the toolbox. And I found this has been very helpful too. Just be on top of the boxes. And then you can definitely get the top of these things pretty much no problem. Of course, it requires you to have this, upgraded and everything to have that toolbox. But yeah, as some of the some of the Brits in the community have said, you can also hop on the bonnet if you want to do that too. But yeah, it's not really all that big of a deal for the car wash because there's enough contrast in the soap and the water and everything there. But good tip for the body shop for sure is definitely, you could do that there too, and then you can get all the stuff off of it too. I like that the nights are extended because if you're, and we've been talking about this extensively, and I still will, especially if you guys want to hear my ideas on what I would do with the game. I'm not going to say it's this game. I'm going to say that this is sort of like I'm structuring my feedback in what I would like to see in a game like this. So I'm not saying car dealership simulator should be this in order to be good. No. I'm saying, man, this game has shown me something, and it'd be really cool if there was a game like this that had these things in it, right? Which could be this game, but it doesn't have to be this game, right? This game has, it's about what the vision is for it is all about what the dev wants it to be. It's going to be their vision, and that is completely fine. But there are just so many things I would love to see in a game like this that would just drive me. I would absolutely play it multiple times if it had these types of things, right? And I think this game has the potential for some of these ideas. So I was, if you want to see the list and stuff, I can present it in a video, or I can probably just, link it in a Google Doc or whatever. But I think there's some really good stuff in there. I'm very biased in that assessment, of course, but I think there's some really good stuff in there. But one of the things we were talking about that I think it's been pretty contested, so I wanted to address it in the video directly and kind of, I'm not arguing with you. I understand where you're coming from, but I think you're missing my point. And I think if you understood my point, or at least saw a little bit more clearly of where I'm coming from, then you might agree with me instead of, passionately disagreeing with me. This is the internet, so I don't have high hopes here. So automation, all right? I've been saying, we need more automation. I need to be able to hire more people, which we now can. But I want to have a porter a mover, as I was telling him earlier. I want to have somebody, and I think this right here, the office with the couch and everything, I think setting that porter up right here as their workstation would be super good. Maybe with like a little desk, like a little podium kind of thing. I think that'd be a great spot for it. This is an area where they could set up, and if you hired this person, they could move cars from one station to another. We could put a parameter in place where I could say, okay, all cars go to mechanic, body shop, car wash, photo booth to the lot. And we could say pending cars to start that process are parked there. And then completed cars that have finished that process are parked there. The player would then move the car to the lot, get it for sale, put the pricing, all that stuff. That would still be up to the player. Okay. And the thing about that is that at a first glance, everyone who's, you have the mindset that, well, it's a simulation game. It's not a management game. You're turning it into a management game. Stop turning it into a management game. No, I'm not turning it into a management game. Right now, it's more of a management game than what I'm asking for. And let me explain why. So right now, you have to move all the cars around. You have to tell them what to do, micromanage them. That's management. You're micromanaging everyone. I don't want to micromanage people, right? I want to do things that a car dealer does. Right now, you spend the majority of your time doing what I'm doing, which is stuff that a dealership does, I guess, but not I'm not making any deals. When I say I want more automation, I'm not saying, hey, why don't we just have everybody do everything and I can sit on my ass and do nothing? That would ruin the game. I agree. That would completely ruin the game. But when you introduce automation like this, what you do is you free up the player's time to do better and more important things, to do more interesting things. Now, maybe you enjoy fixing cars and wrenching things. You can still do that. There's a bay right here. You can do it however long you want. Maybe you like the car wash. There you go. If you like body work, there you go. You can do it as much as you want. I'm not taking anything away from you. By introducing automation, the player can still do it as often as they want. It's your place after all. But once you own the place, you haven't changed your job. Your job is the same as it's always been since the very beginning. You haven't scaled up at all, right? So that's the kind of thing that I'd like to fix. And to fix that, you introduce new features. And I'm kind of getting into that document again that I was talking about earlier. You introduce, I want to get further away from this too, by the way. I'd love to get further away from this. Like right now, if you hold it down, you have to get further away from it. And yeah, and like in here, hitting X makes a lot of sense because now you can see where all the rust is, right? And that's great. What I'd like to see from it, right, is the automation is not to take away the jobs that are here now. The automation is so that jobs can be added and activities and events can be added to the game in the future. Because right now, think of it. If you add something like an auction that the player can go to find cars, right? Or if you were to add proper competition in the game, something like having other dealerships to interact with, or random events, special things around the neighborhood or something that you can interact with. Maybe I want to do a charitable event. Maybe I want to work with a content creator and sponsor some kind of like wacky car, stunt or something, right? Maybe there's a film that needs a car or something. And I need to deliver the car to their film set, and they're probably going to damage it, and I'm going to have to fix it. But hey, maybe I get some publicity out of that, right? These little random event type things. Maybe I want to sponsor a radio giveaway, and it's like, hey, you can win a car, sponsored by Char's Cars, right? That kind of stuff happens in the real world all the time, and I would love to interact with that kind of stuff because that's what a dealership does when they establish themselves, when they get themselves running smoothly. That's what a dealership does. These types of things, right? I want to go and go to an auction. I want to deal with trade-in offers and have try to evaluate whether it's worth sacrificing a little bit for this car in exchange for having immediate new inventory right there in front of me, right? I want to do test drives or have test drives be possible so that people can actually see whether that car works in their life, right? That's the kind of stuff that is not in the game, but it's essential for a car dealership. And if this is a car dealer simulator, that was my opinion anyway. It doesn't have to be yours. my opinion was that kind of stuff should be in the game if it really wants to be a car dealer simulator, right? That's the kind of stuff. Right now, it's more like car refurbishing simulator. Fix up the car and then see about selling it for 80% above market value, right? That's the kind of stuff. You free up the player's time to engage in these much more interesting things by introducing automation for the stuff the player used to have to do before. That was my point. It's not to take away all the actions. Now, if no new features were going to be added to this game, if this is the game forever, then I completely agree with you. Don't automate. Like 100% don't automate, because then yes, you're ruining the game. You're taking everything away from the player. They don't have to do it, but when you offer it to somebody, they do it. You know, I totally get it. But where I'm coming from is thinking about the future of the game and what's going to be added in the future, the possibilities. In order to have those possibilities realized, you have to introduce automation, at least for the stuff that's currently there. And that's where I'm getting at with it. And I have a lot more stuff to say, but I already started saying more than I planned on in this video, but I'm going through my notes, how I would change the system. And yeah, so like I'd love to, to tell you more, but I'm going to leave this video as is not being entirely about that. Just know that I hear you on the automation critique, but I see it differently than you because I think it's because I'm looking at it differently than you. I'm looking at it from a standpoint of what will be like in the future and how do you get there for players while also allowing them to still sell cars. Because if I still have to do stuff like this, if I still have to have this workflow that's existed since the beginning of the game, and I want to do all those things, it's going to interrupt me, right? Like we're already to the point now where, and maybe that will kind of change now because the day is extended. I love that the day is extended because it actually gives it a chance to not be this way anymore. But right now, typically you're closed most of the time. And then you open for like a day or two, you sell your stock, and then you rinse and repeat. And that doesn't have to be that way. And I don't think it will be that way. I'm going to change the color of this thing. I don't think it will be that way if you could automate, because then you could stay open longer. It's like I said I wanted to hire salespeople too for that very reason, so that the player could go off and do things. I digress. Well, I'm getting into it, and I don't want to get into it. I feel really good about this game. This game has done something to me. It doesn't happen often. It's not super rare, but in general, when I see a game that I think has a lot of potential, I like to imagine things. I feel like that's a normal response to want to imagine what that potential could be. That's where I am with it, man. Brake calipers on the right front and the brake disc on the right front. Perfect. It's both the same. I love only having to take off one wheel. I would love a pneumatic drill in here. That would be great, so that I could take these off without having to wrench them. I think that would be a worthy upgrade. I don't think that's taking away anything from the player, okay? Giving them power tools. So I don't forget. This is something else people wanted me to try. They're like, hey, can you wash and like fix your tow truck and stuff? Like, can you do stuff with your tow truck? Let's find out. We'll park in the car wash first. I think I have something in the body shop. Yeah. We'll park in the car wash first. See if I can do anything with my tow truck. Okay. I don't know. We'll find out. It's not highlighting green for me, so I don't think so. I mean, it certainly looks pretty dirty. It doesn't give me a prompt to do anything with it. If I spray it, does it actually change? So if we look at the window's pretty dirty, right? So if I was to spray the window, or can I even spray the window? No, you cannot spray the tow truck. So there you go. There's your answer. And if I can't spray it with a car wash, probably can't do anything with the body either. I would imagine there's no merit in, no reason to try scraping off rust or anything either. So nope. Here's your answer. Now you know. Sad face. I'd love to be able to change the change the color of this thing. I think another cool thing, which isn't on my notes, and I guess it's going to be now, is custom. I'd love to, for example, add like racing stripes to one of the sports cars things. You know, like I'd love to be able to do stuff like that, or custom paint jobs. You don't have to have them be custom, like the player draws the image. Just give me options that, you know, maybe like 15, 20 options of different styles and designs or whatever that I could customize. And I could just choose one for the car. And I think it's questionable. Like a lot of times it does add value. Like for a sporty car, a muscle car and stuff, you add a pinstripe, or you add the racing stripe down the middle. It does add value to the vehicle for the customer. It doesn't like change the Kelly Blue Book or anything, right? But the customers are more interested in it, for sure. So like that is something that we could look at. I could add, you know, things like color shifting paint, where it's one color at this angle, but then another color at this angle. That kind of stuff is very interesting to customers. It turns some people off, but you know, you're going to get more interest at least in it. Terrible pictures. We already talked about this before. This thing needs to be updated significantly. All right, so I've been doing 990 as my thing here. There you go. See a sliver, just a tiny sliver of red. There you go. See? I did the tiny sliver of red. And every car on the lot is that way. Which, by the way, I have to, since I sold one, let's get another one in here. We'll go... we could do the navy blue Zen Motors Journey. I have a lot of journeys in here already, though. I'd kind of like to... Yeah, we'll put the Largo in here. Yeah, it's fine. I have enough SUVs in here. I just put a car in here. Okay, more. So again, it's 5:30 a.m. I've gone through a lot of work already, and I still have more time. This is great. I think this is a good like having more time makes it feel like I can be more productive during the day. I don't know how it works with the whole balance idea. It's a single player game, so I mean the balance is the player happy, I think, is the balance. I need to buy more fuses and stuff too, I think. But I don't have any parts to refurbish. They're all 100% now, which is neat. Because, you know, we can go to the junkyard and buy more, which I have been doing. I have been going to the junkyard and buying more. I'm also looking at the achievements in Steam. And, you know, having to wash 50 cars, body shop work on 50 cars, fix 50 cars. I've got 48. So if I do honestly, I had 48 starting this, so now I have 49. So if I just did this car right here, if I just do this, then I think I got myself an achievement. Yeah, that's how it'll work. Use the power tools. Another thing people told me, which I get it. You know, you guys are trying to be helpful. You got to understand, though, like I have a certain... I'm not judging. You can play the game how you want. It's a single-player game. I have no problem with it, but... When I play a game, don't take it the wrong way, but I like to do it right. Okay, that's just how it goes. So I'm aware that I can just put the wheel and not screw them in, and it counts as installed. I know. The resonator, right? I can choose the resonator and then just not screw it in, and it counts as installed. I know. I'm just gonna screw it in because I want to do it the right way. Same thing with the plethora of people, like dozens, that told me that I don't have to pick up the cars. I can just buy them. They're all around. Then I just go and hit the reset button and they all appear on my lot for me. I know. It's just not the way I want to play the game, you know? It's just, you know, you play it your way and that's completely fine. You can do it how you want. I have no judgments. It's a single player game. If you're cheating in a multiplayer game, then, you know, I have a problem with you, how you're doing it. But, you know, if it's a single player game, just play it how you're having fun. If you're not having fun screwing things in, then skip that part. If you can do it, sure. You know, if you're not having fun going out and getting the cars, then, you know, skip that part. If you can, sure. No big deal, right? But, you know, yes, those things exist. I'm just not going to show them. I guess I did now. But I wasn't going to show them in the video, okay? There's a lot of times where I know things and I'm choosing not to do them because it's not in the spirit of the game. And in my opinion, the reset thing should probably be patched because it's that just breaks. It breaks some things for me anyway. It does. But if you're not enjoying it, a certain part of the game, and the game gives you a way to skip that part you're not enjoying, then by all means do it. Whatever, it's cool. But I'm just not going to show it usually. The trailer thing, that was legit. Like I didn't know about that one. Like I just flat out missed the tooltip. That's my bad. But like a lot of other things, I know about them. I'm just not going to do them. So now that everybody's done with everything, right? This is what a porter would do. They would take it from there and move it over here. And you don't have to have pathing. You might think, well, it's too complicated to, a person's going to walk around and move cars around. It's too complicated for the pathing and everything. You don't have to have pathing. It's not like these guys are actually wiping down cars, right? It's just kind of giving you this graphic where, they're working on it. And then it just appears done, right? Well, it could be the same thing with the porter's job. It could just be the cars move to a new location, and maybe their speed at which they do that increases as I'm getting ahead of myself here because of part of my document. Never mind. As far as their skills go up, right? But yeah, like I feel like this would be something that they could do because you're spending your time as a player doing this, and you might argue, well, yes, that's the simulator game. You're supposed to have to do it. No arguments there. It's not supposed to be a management game, but if you remove my need to do this stuff, you enable the development to add other stuff. Because if you're going to add other stuff, I have to have time to do that other stuff, right? So, you got to have... That's what I'm talking about. As the game goes on, as things get better, or as things get bigger and more complicated, so too should the game also get more sophisticated. I guess that's where I'm going with it. But now I have more time to do it, though. The change in the time of day, how long the days are, I actually really like it. I don't know if it's the right timing. I just longer days in general. I don't know if 2.5, for a minute or 2.5 seconds per minute is the right time, but it certainly feels great to have more time in the day. It doesn't feel like I have to rush around and I didn't get anything done today. People want to feel like they got stuff done today. There we go. We're getting stuff done over there. Yeah, and then I can go over like this and grab all these parts. Like so. That's 12. Here we go. And then this becomes this is way easier now because I can just go like that. So much better. Thank you. You know what I'd like is maybe some ideas for a challenge run. I think that'd be good. I want to do like some kind of like special challenge run with this game where, I don't know, we look to, I don't know, maybe make $1 million by a certain day or something like that. Like, or have $1 million by a certain day or whatever. I don't know. Like, there's got to be something more creative than that. I'm just like, thinking out loud at this point. This vehicle here, this yellow one, is actually fully fixed up, polished, and ready to go. I could actually technically put it on the lot. We had a lot of people wanting to buy cars, though. Hi. You're starting at 18. That's not a good sign. Probably have to go ahead and decline you. Like I have been declining everyone so far that wants to buy one of my cars. Nobody interested in these yet. You have to wait a very long time, but eventually you'll get someone interested in them. 48, 48, 48, 48. How about 46, 50? Okay, you moved up a little bit. How about I moved down, let's say that much. Okay. No, I think I'm good. Goodbye. You just have to tell them no. Over and over again, tell them no until you have a full showroom. And then once you have a full lot and you're like, okay, I really need to move inventory now. I got things waiting. That's when you can start moving your price down a little bit. And I do wish, another feature I'd like to see is the ability to more easily adjust prices. Once you have a listing, which these ones are not listed, but once you have a listing, in order to adjust the price, you have to completely remove that listing and redo it. I would like the ability to edit a listing. Go over here, go to your ads. I want an edit button. Just give me like a little pencil icon or something right here. And let me edit and change the price. That's what I'd like. Because otherwise you have to, like I said, you have to completely remove it. And that's not realistic either. It's just an extra step and all these extra steps. There's a lot of extra clicks. That's kind of the theme around the game right now is the game just takes a lot of extra clicks. Let's get this one over here. I also had somebody else tell me or with an idea. I don't know if it's really worth it or not, but I think at this point it's probably not worth it because the junkyard's parts are so cheap and we can just refurbish them very quickly. But one idea to do in the early game, maybe, you know, I don't know how early, because at this point, like when I started, right, I could have every repair without any upgrade. I had the ability to like change engines right away, right? I didn't have any of those restrictions. And that's not really the case now. And then I think this one I didn't manipulate the odometer with yet. Yeah. I am doing that on all these cars, by the way. I'm not forgetting to do it. I know I'll get the comments. You're forgetting to. I'm cutting. You see the video cuts? It means there's things happening that you don't see. And I realize that means that you don't know. I understand that. Ooh, that was close. Okay, got it. So I realize, like, if I don't show it, then you don't know it. You know, and that's fine. I'll just let you know I'm doing it. Okay, now you know. Let's pop this up. We're gonna need to make this thing drivable too. What is needed on this? Brake disc in the right rear will get it moving on its own. So that's what we'll do for there. Because the days are longer and the nights are longer, it also means that you can actually get all your parts refurbished before the end of the day. Whether that's balanced or not, I don't know. But it's a single player game, so I don't know. The balance to me, and I'm not a game dev, you know, and my insight is like, I'm not special, right? But I feel like balance is what the player wants, and every player is different. Some people want a really casual experience. Others, like me, want a challenge. I'm like, I need a goal that I'm working towards, and I need that challenge, and I need to conquer that challenge, which is why I'm interested in a challenge run for this game. Like, what do you think we should try and do to make the game interesting? A set of parameters, maybe things we have to do, things we don't have to do. Had somebody else, a few people actually, tell me that, you know, like, I don't have to replace every part, you know, just, you don't have to go 100% on every car. And my answer to that is, I know, but it takes basically the same amount of time, right? So this part here was a 30%. Let's say I had a 50% part or a 60% or a 70% part in here. I also have a 100% part. It takes the same amount of time for me to do that. When it comes to telling the mechanic what to do, again, it's basically the same amount of time. It's a couple of extra clicks, but I get a lot more money for it from the sale by just using the brand new part that I have. Now, one of your cases for that is that it does mean I don't have to clean as many parts, or I don't have to refurbish as many parts. That's completely true, totally valid. However, with the extended days the way they are now, that's not a problem anymore. Getting all the parts done is not a problem anymore. And that, again, is a balance issue there, because now I'm going to get all the parts done every night. It's a game. It's a game. Just think of it like a game, and take it as seriously as a game, and we'll all be okay. All right, we will put you in the body shop first, because we already have something in the wash bay. So we'll have you done like that. So now I have a car to fix, a car to clean, a car to do body work on, a car to follow up into the mechanic as well. Real quick, did you already get your wash and stuff? You look like you did. Yeah, so you're just gonna get a few extra little tweaks here and then call it good, and that's fine. So we'll get that done, and if I change my mind, it's already down, whatever. So now, in this period of time, right, we have everybody's done, everybody's ready. I could sleep on the couch if I wanted to. The parts machine works in real time. So if you're really trying to min-max the timing, ooh, maybe that's a challenge run. Notice in the upper left corner, I just noticed this when I booted it up this morning. It says day 82. I think it said day 76 or something before. 78. But that wasn't a thing before. We didn't see the date. We didn't see what day it was up there. We only saw that it was Friday at a certain time. We didn't see what day it was. So maybe the challenge run is to max out the dealership by a certain day. You know, maybe it's a speed run. Ugh. I don't normally do that kind of stuff, but hey, some people are into it. I don't know. Just ideas. Just throwing out ideas. Let's make it interesting. Oh, that thing I was talking about before. I get sidetracked. I'm very sorry about that. I just do that. Where I said it was an idea that you guys had, but it probably wouldn't be viable now at this stage of the game because the junkyard parts are so cheap. is cannibalizing a car. A lot of people have brought that up too. So you find something that's really cheap. And I think this one's probably the cheapest one. It says it's not drivable, 45% technical condition. You know, maybe you get one that has, you know, very high technical condition, but it just has really bad body shapes or really bad visual condition instead. High mileage, whatever. And you strip it of all of its parts, refurbish them, and you just use those as parts. I think it's not quite very viable right now. If you were buying brand new parts, definitely would be good. I mean, a brand new engine was like $3,000 when we started. I think it's like $1,500 now. They might have rebalanced it, but I think it should be, you know, $6,000 personally, brand new engine. But yeah, it's like you could take a whole car and just strip all the parts out of it. I don't know if that's a really good idea in general. I don't think it's better than just simply, you know, going and the junkyard and get the parts. I can't speak. I'm terrible at speaking now. So I want to go get those two cars, and I'm gonna back this up and just drop it right here for now. And I'm gonna bring this trailer over to the tow truck and let the tow truck have it. Well, yeah, I guess I can go through it. That's good. So I'm going to park this, I think, just right here out front. No big deal. And we'll go ahead with the tow truck and go get those two orders as well, those two cars. So those are pretty close together. Somebody else also wanted me to drive in first person. They said that the handling on the car changes and it's easier to deal with on keyboard and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. I don't think I had a huge issue with it on keyboard before, but driving first person isn't something I've really done yet. So I'm trying to cover all my bases here. All right, I want to react and respond. I want to be an engaging content creator. I want to be. I have historically been pretty good at that. I have no idea how I would go about going in reverse with this, since I can't look around the seat. Oh, I pivot in place instead of looking out the back window. Oh, that's missed opportunity there. Yeah, I can't reverse. All right, so we're gonna have to just do it this way. We're gonna let this trailer get out of the way. Hit the wrong button initially, but yeah, you know what? I'm not used to using that button, am I? No. Basically the whole playthrough, man, not using that button. All right. So I'm getting a lot of these vans because I haven't sold very many of them, and you know, I'm getting Steam achievements. Shock absorber right and rear. Now, what's that? So purchase price, market value. See the scanner showing two different values on the car? So that's pretty interesting. 29,745. Is that going to be his initial starting offer? Is that spoiling it for me? No. Hold on. If I take this for 28,019, does that adjust? Reasonable. Okay, it does adjust. Yeah. So I can see the purchase price right there. So now I know how much I spent on it. And that, of course, that doesn't tell me. Hang on, get that. It'd be green again. Yeah. Of course, it doesn't tell me the value of the parts that I might have added to it and things like that. But I don't know if it's really all that relevant that it shows that stuff, because again, our parts repair is basically free. You know, plus electricity. It's hard to quantify, is what I'm saying. It's because you're also getting replacement parts for it. And since every part is universal, every part just works with every other car. You're not going to go, are you? You're really going to say that thing's in your way? You can't go around it. Traffic? I'd love to see a traffic adjustment to the AI where they are willing to go around something. Because otherwise you have to park on the sidewalk every time. Nobody does that. Okay, well, some people do that, but it's not legal. Okay. Ooh, traffic tickets. Nah, don't add that. That's not needed. I mean, it could be fine, but it's not needed. Definitely would want to see body damage, though. Body damage is a huge opportunity in this game. I'm seeing DLC possibilities with body damage, because body damage is one of those things where casual players will hate it. And, you know, so it needs to be a toggle. kind of like the Vandal, except this one adds meaningful gameplay as opposed to the Vandal, which, in my opinion, does not. You're gonna laugh in my face. Okay, fine. Interesting. So they rebalanced a lot of these things, and I wanted to see how it was. In the patch notes, it says they rebalanced negotiations. So we're gonna end up having to pay more than market rate for this one.
I don't know.
Yeah. Good. But since the way the game works with me being able to put new parts in it and the bonuses I can get from my receptionist and all those things, I'm going to be able to sell this thing for significantly higher value anyway. So I don't think it matters if I spend a couple grand over market value. And it should. That's my point. It should. It should definitely matter. Because market value should be the standard of what you're trying to get. And I think if they introduce... and I'll get back to my body. I'll get back to my damage talk in a second. If they introduce competition in a meaningful way, I'm envisioning dealerships, other dealers in the local area that are also offering cars for sale, right? They have their own prices on them. You can't sell them for a meaningful amount more than what they are because customers, I mean, they want what they want, and if they can get it cheaper, they're going to do it, right? Nobody willingly buys a car for more money. Nobody does that, you know. So it's, I think that's one way to do it. And market price should be what you strive for. In fact, you should probably be consistently selling them for slightly under market value if it's a competitive marketplace. You know, because you're trying to get business, and everybody's trying to get that same business. I can just maneuver this thing with another vehicle, right? Yeah. So like, I haven't been, you know, I don't consider it leaving money on the table for making everything into the red, right? I see it as, I don't know, playing a bit more realistic, because there's just no reason to allow me as the player, there's no to allow competition either. There's no reason to allow anyone to be able to sell a vehicle 30% above market value, because otherwise it wouldn't be market value. You know, the market value is what the market is willing to pay for it. And it's a very flexible thing, I admit, but you know, if the consensus price for a vehicle is $42,000, so much so that it is considered the market value of the car, there's no reason I can place a sticker price of 75 grand on it and end up walking out of it and selling it for 60. You know, there's no reason I should be able to do that. It doesn't have to be exactly in that spot. But look how much time I have to do this stuff now. You know, it's not even 7 a.m. yet. So much time. They might have slowed it down too much. I'm kidding. It's slowing it down too much. Like, you can always sleep, right? The couch is there. You can always sleep. I do think, though, and again, maybe it's just because I'm weird, right? You can, again, tell me I'm weird if you want. I feel like the player should have some kind of like endurance system. Should have to sleep. You get tired, you get cranky. Your negotiating skills suffer for it if you don't sleep. All right, so this is the third time I've been offered for this vehicle. And the guy just came in and just said, hey, good offer. I'll take it. $76,750 for that. So I just sell it for that. So if you're really patient, you can get 3 people interested in your car. They'll eventually just, you know, I don't know if it's always 3. I'm kind of going by bug reports, or going by reports, not personal experience here. But from what I can tell, if you just get 3 people interested, you pretty much get your price. So this is the first time I've seen anybody for this one here. So if I go like 45,000 down here like this, he's not moving up very much. I just say, okay, reject. Go away. Now, the trick is getting people interested in your super high-priced car in the first place. And it's possible that was already passed. I'm gonna have to ask him, actually. I think I'm going to leave him a message on their Discord and ask him, because if this negotiations patch, if this little negotiations rebalance they did, if that covers it, then I can't do it anymore, then that's perfect. I just wanted to show it, and if I can't do it anymore, then I guess that's great. I need to replace some parts here for this. Yeah, maybe now that the days are longer, which does feel better. I still say it feels better. I think maybe though, because the days are longer, I think the mechanic, I would say the mechanic and body shop both. Maybe not the wash so much, but mechanic and body shop, I feel like they should definitely take longer. You've more than doubled the length of the day. I would now double the length that their repairs take. That's my 2 cents. But yeah, I think the repairs probably should take a little bit longer now. I think you get done with them too quickly. Of course, I've thought that before anyway, because you're going to replace all the stuff in a car. Cool, I'll be done in a couple hours. No, never. Mechanics would get paid a lot of money if they could somehow do that. I can fix it up because I have all the fuses now, so that's cool. We'll replace the engine because it's at 11%, because why not? Because we can. I have lots of engines. I don't have a lot of brake discs. I need to source more brake disc parts as well, but go ahead and get those done while you can. Definitely makes it drivable at least. I'm starting to notice a little bit of performance. Ooh, starting to stretch it out. I've heard a lot from people in the comments saying, you know, that they're you know, the game's not running super smoothly for them and stuff, you know, with their computer and everything. And I have a beast of a machine, so I usually have no issues with performance, but I also, because I have a beast of a machine, I'm usually like a really not a great person to ask about whether or not a game is optimized well, because I usually just brute force it with, you know, raw computing power. My gear is, there's a link in the description of my channel, not the videos. So like in my About Me section, there is like a Google Doc. It's a cpry.net/mygear. And it'll take you to a doc that I keep updated with my computer settings and stuff, with my my hardware. So you can see what I'm running the game on. It's certainly not a cheap PC. And I don't have any performance issues usually because of that, but I'm getting a little bit going on here. There's just a bit, you know. I don't know if it's because of how many cars we own or what. I wouldn't think it's changed much graphically, so it's got to be something to do with maybe how many things are being processed at once, like how many different jobs and stuff. And body shop's not doing anything, so I don't know. Maybe the more cars you get on the lot, the more taxing it is. But yeah, certainly if you're placing all your prices in the red, and I will ask him, because I feel like I was misled. This was supposed to be a gotcha moment, and now it's not working. There's nobody interested. So I think if I had done this before the patch that just happened, maybe I would have been able to show it, but it looks like it may have been fixed. Which again, I am all for fixing that, because there's no reason I should be able to list this thing for well over $750,000. This car needs a little bit of everything, but I'm just going to wash them all. I've decided that of all the jobs that are available in the game, whether it being mechanic or working the body shop or washing, I've decided that I enjoy the washing the most. It sounds strange, maybe because it's the simple one. You just point and shoot, but there's a therapeutic nature to it, you know? I mean, have you ever played Pressure Washer? The Pressure Washer game, Pressure Washer Simulator, whatever? Like, there's a therapeutic nature to that. It just kind of feels... There's a satisfaction that comes from that. And I kind of get it with the body shop, but not really. Not the same as I get it with the washing. I mean, maybe I just, again, I'm weird. But that's the job I'm going to do. I'm just going to wash the cars. If I had to do a job, if it was like, you know, the player's got to do something, everybody else can do everything else, well, I choose washing. And you know, again, you can kind of see where the wax is. You don't really need X for this either. You can see where it is. Even if you stop spraying, you can still see where it is, because it's all caked on. But when you get a vehicle that's already that color, then yeah, it's going to be more challenging to see it, you know, whatever. And is it easier to see it with the yellow? Yeah, I suppose. But I would actually kind of like to see the polish. The polish is a strange one for me, because I think probably the decision to put it in the wash like this was just a gameplay decision. The polish really should be in the body shop. But It's okay. I'm okay with it being the sprayer, because it's all about gameplay. It's all about, you know, the experience for the gamer. It doesn't have to be realistic that way. You know, it needs to exist, but I think they've implemented it okay. I think if I was, you know, thinking long term, I'd probably like to see it in the body shop. And then the paint which should definitely not be in the body shop. So you would move the polish to the last step. You basically, I think the loop would be this: you'd clean it, you do all the body work, then you'd paint it, then you'd polish it. And you see how you have to move it back, and I think that's the reason why they put it in the wash, because you know, not wanting to move it back and stuff. So I'll let somebody else do the body work and everything. It's fine. And then we'll go shock absorber in the right rear, as it said. No, front right. It's literally gone. You can see that it is missing. So yes, we will do that. And yeah, we don't have to do that part, so I can just get out of it and it's drivable now. That's how that works. So if you don't like doing the mechanic stuff, just pop the part on and drive it back. You don't have to put the screws in, you know? It's okay. I hear you. It's fine. It's a single player game, okay? Play it how you want to play it. That's my go-to thing, is play it how you want to play it. And everything that I've said in this video and previous ones about like different features and stuff I'd like to see, it doesn't take away anything from you. That's the thing to know. It doesn't make the game more challenging. It doesn't make it more difficult. It just changes it and makes it deeper. And all of the things you currently have will still be there. You just have a lot more newer things to do. You have more to do, especially in the late game. That's really where the struggle is late game, because once you have conditions like this right now, where we already own the place and it's just kind of like the same stuff over and over again, right? Now you play it to relax, but you're not getting any progression. And I feel like progression is kind of an important thing now to have. So once you lose progression, you kind of lose a lot of the draw to continue. That's my opinion. Oh, also, if you're having a hard time doing this, the scanner, somebody else, I haven't tested this yet, so I guess I'll do this too. Somebody said you can scan it right behind the car, and you can see it almost right there. The scan car. Yeah. You can do that. So you see market value 48. I bought it for 25. It's already a substantial profit. But most likely, I will sell this car for 90 grand. And that's absurd. Oh, and one last thing. Because people have been saying it, and I got to do it. Got to cover every comment in this video. Look, I'm using the emergency lights and also blocking the entire road. There you go. See, proper role play requires the lights to be used. Also these lights. Those should be used as well, but they're not on when I'm not in the car. Okay, I'm going to go get more inventory now. You have a nice day. Bye.